Hi, this is Brent with Trade Therapy and a chart breakdown video for Coinbase. Coinbase was our Clarity Spotlight this weekend. Today is Monday, February 24th. This weekend, for those of you who have had a chance to read the article, we started with where we left off in September. And so if you look here in September, we were talking about this corrective wave. Here we had talked about how Elliott wave theory is invaluable in periods like late stage accumulation and reaccumulation because it allows us to have an idea of when these things may come to a close. The combination of using Fibonacci with Wyckoff and Elliott wave theory, the strength of the combination of all of those three really shines in identifying and determining when a pullback is done. One of the telltale signs that you look for is when you see an ABC corrective here to see a sharp wave C down. And we saw that in September here in Coin. We did talk about taking position here at the conclusion of wave C and that we expected there to be some sort of a jump here, some sort of up thrust coming out of this. We did get that. We did see a huge reaction to this pullback. We saw this impulsive structure really take off. And so at the conclusion here, there was a tremendous move to the upside. So we did see follow through in that back in it. This is from November. You can see the utilization of Wyckoff here combined with the Fibonacci here at the 618 makes a very logical place for institutions to make a run at liquidity, try to get as many people out of this range as they can before they go up and move out and try to continue on with their markup plans. Coin is in late stage reaccumulation. We did talk about that in this weekend's Clarity Spotlight. We did talk about this big run. So this is where we left off in September. Here's the run that started. That last chart we looked at was about here in November. You can see the run continued all the way up and completed this impulsive wave structure, which is wave one. So what we were looking at in September was the sharp breakdown out of a reaccumulation structure right here, taking out all of the retail investors that had been chasing profit at the top of wave three right here. Very typical institutional behavior here this weekend. In Clarity, we introduced this multiple creek concept. This multiple creek concept is something, there's a guy named Hank Pruden. Google Hank Pruden, Wyckoff, and you'll see a lot of his work. You'll recognize it. Wyckoff is obviously something that we have spent a lot of time educating ourselves on and studying, and Hank did too. Hank is widely respected in the Wyckoфfian community as one of the thought leaders. And this concept that he championed and introduced in his work of multiple creeks makes sense. These creeks are formed they form in these push and pull supply demand battles that are happening in late stage structures. And I'll jump over to a live chart here for Coin. These push and pull demand versus supply going back and forth is what produces these types of structures, these reaccumulation structures, these multiple creek type structures, is basically institutions using supply and demand to try to accumulate as much of this as they can before they exit the range. And the process creates these kind of pivot points, which are these creeks. And these are not exact sciences. It's just the concept, the idea that this structure right here, this pullback right here should stop in this area right here. There's a number of reasons why it should. There's the all-time demand line right there. There is the creek, the lower creek here that runs across the tops of these peaks. And you see this big breakout right here. We talk about in our content about the strategy behind this from an accumulation standpoint. This is eye candy. This is institutions luring in retail investors that are constantly chasing quick returns. The retail investment community that's why they just get taken advantage of time and time again, because no one wants to do any research. No one wants to take the time to understand these technical concepts that we're discussing here today. And so Wall Street and financial institutions take advantage of that by doing things like this and creating these sharp increases on relatively low volume, and you see a huge volume spike at the top because they just dumped their position and went short. And all of the people that came in and chased right here just got taken out. So as a highly desirable asset like Coinbase, based on the upside that we've talked about in our coverage of all of the different cryptocurrency assets or the entire cryptocurrency sector, there is tremendous upside expected. We talked about how the cryptocurrency trade is really just the perfect trade for the perfect market. We're about to see the result of that. Whenever and we talked a little bit about this in the Mara video that we just dropped, but whenever you see a reaccumulation structure develop this quickly after accumulation, so this has not gotten above all-time highs. It has not been released out into a phase E or a markup period yet. This is still in accumulation. That's why we see these shenanigans here at the end, because we're getting to the top of this base. We're getting up to the top of this gigantic cut base, and there's huge upside. It's back to the power of the 1, 2, 3 wave price cycle. That is what is so attractive to institutions about Coinbase, and why we see these sharp moves right here this late in the game. Think about it. This has been under accumulation since back here. They have been trying to buy as much of it as they possibly can, and they're still trying every trick in the book to try to get as much of it as they can. We love this chart. We're not long Coinbase, but highly tempted to get long Coinbase right now. We try to keep our positions that we manage between 4 and 6 at a time. I feel like if we get more than that, that we're not effectively managing them. But this is very encouraging, the steep drop right here back to this upper creek. We do think that this is run out of juice here. Sellers are exhausted here. So we do expect to see some sort of at least a 1, 2, 3 wave cycle. This could go A, B, C into a larger drop back here. Doubtful. That's not our expectation, but technically that is a possibility. But it is at least due for a 3 wave uptick right here. We would expect coin to get back up to at least this high right here, if not begin wave 3 and extend up and out of this range. Hope that was helpful. Again, don't take any of the comments in this video or any of our commentary or content ever as personal financial advice. We're not suggesting that anyone take any positions anytime in any of our content. We're simply discussing the positions that we are managing, the money that we are managing, why we are making the decisions that we are, and what our plans are. So hope this video was helpful for everybody. Hope everybody had a great weekend, and hope everybody has a good week trading.